I was originally going to do this video in front of my bookshelf, but the lighting there is not exactly what I want. There's not a lot of sunlight and the actual lamp above isn't really bright. Granted, the light in here isn't exactly what I want it to be either. It's set on daylight right now. That's much better for what, this is what I wanted. Like this. If I didn't do this video now, it wasn't gonna get done, and I wanted to do it because here's the wrap up of the books I read between November and December. So it's my last wrap up of 2025, including the books that I purchased and the ones that I got for Christmas. It's not going to be my holiday haul. I still need to do that. So that will be coming up soon. I think I read, I believe, the same amount of books from the library as I did books that I physically owned. We will have to check out my stats for a moment. I'm also going to go over all of my 2025 stats. You can't see that well. Oh well. I will take screenshots of some of them and put them like here. But let's get into the books first. The first book I read between November and December, it was actually Misrule by Heather Walter. It was the second book in the Malice duology, and I have to say I didn't really like it as much. I really liked Malice for like the kind of morally gray character that Alice was and how her relationship with Aurora became, and then I just felt like the second book, I wanted Alice to be with somebody different, because who Alice and Aurora were after the events of the second book are just not the same people anymore. Like, it was a case of I just wanted to be like, hey, maybe your first love isn't your forever love, and maybe just go after somebody else. Maybe. But that's what I felt about that one. Obviously, I don't want to get too spoilery, especially if you haven't read the first one. The next book that I read was Not Even Bones, and this is by Rebecca Schaeffer. This is the first book in a trilogy. It is the Market of Monsters series, and it follows a young girl named Nita who helps her mom sell monster parts. And one day, Nita saves one of the monsters that they would have sold for parts because this one's still alive. And normally she only dissects dead monsters. So she frees him, and then she gets caught, and she's put on essentially like the black market for monster parts and things like that. And it's her trying to escape, making a very unlikely friend. I do believe I will read the other books. I know my library has them because I read the first one through the library. So at some point I will get back there and read the other two books. But I thought it was a very fun little YA story, and somewhat dark for YA, very much darker than like any YA I've ever read. So it was very interesting. I liked it. Next is a book that I started late October, finished early December, because I was reading it for a class. I was in a literary analysis class, and we were encouraged to pick a work of literature and like analyze it through all the different, theories that we were learning through the class. So I decided to pick the book I did. It also meant that it was a reread, but I read The Last Unicorn by Peter S. Beagle, and this is a UK edition of the book. I love it. I found it at a Half Price Books, but so I read this with all the different theories that we were learning, and I would analyze different chapters, and it was very fun to kind of read this book again through more analytical eyes than I normally do, because I analyze a little bit when I read, but I'm never reading to analyze, and that's what I was doing this time, and it just made me appreciate the book even more than I already do. And gosh, I need to rewatch the movie. Maybe I'll do that after this. What do you think? The next book I physically own now, but I did read it from the library. But after I read it, I was at a bookstore and I saw it and I was like, I want a copy of this. I want a copy of this in my home. And that is Even Though I Knew the End by C.L. Polk. This is a story set in, I believe, the 50s in Chicago. And this detective is this magical detective, she's trying to figure out who the serial killer is, because if she can figure this out for her boss, she's sort of a private eye, she will be given the opportunity to live out her life with the woman that she loves, who she's obviously with in secret. I thought it was really cute, and it was also like tragic. It's very tragic in a way, and I really liked it. I liked the pacing of the story, the intrigue, and I almost wish that there was like more stories of different people, or that we had more stories following the main character before or after the events of this book, because I really liked it. The next book I read, it was an e-arc of a book. I'm on the street team for it. It is Our Rogue Fates by Sarah Glenn Marsh. This is a Lord of the Rings, Critical Role, fantasy, all that kind of mixed in together. To me, it felt like, like a D&D campaign in all the best ways, but it is a male romance following Griff, Mal, and their friend Alice, who go on a trip after they'd all been kind of separated. They had a falling out many years later. They come together and they're going on this journey to go find some treasure. And along the way, Mal and Griff just realized that they had unspoken feelings that they never told the other person about, and it's just a very beautiful story. One big thing about this that I really loved is there's no third act breakup like in a majority of romance books. The big thing at the end is like there's a third act breakup, and then it's like, oh my god, how are the characters gonna get back together? I hate that. I hate third act breakups. I wish they didn't happen as often. So if you have more romance books that don't have third act breakups, let me know down below, because I would love to read them. But Our Rogue Fates, it's great. It is releasing in April, so I highly recommend looking into the book. Sean Astin, who plays Samwise Gamgee, says that it is such a treasure. He's blurbed the book. So I highly recommend pre-ordering it. There are multiple different pre-order campaigns that you can see on Sarah's website, depending on where you pre-order the book from. And I will be posting more about it on my Instagram, so check it out there. And I just highly recommend that you pre-order it because I loved it. Now, the last two books are by the same author, set in the same universe. I didn't realize that they were, but they are, and they are connected to a novel. These are two novellas. I may need to look up the novel, but the author is Gillian Graves, and so the first book is The Stone and the Star. This book follows Astra, who is a pottery professor at a university, and the 7-foot gargoyle, she's 6 feet, by the way. 6-foot woman. The 7-foot gargoyle that watches her from across the courtyard in her apartment, and how she also watches him while she does things. And then suddenly, they're mates. Very short, very cute. I liked it. The next one by Gillian Graves is Blood Moon. This is a Strange Moon novella, and it follows the main character Hazel, who is a witch, and her falling and being rivals with the vampire Vlad. She owns a bar, he owns the club across the street, and so they're a little bit of rivals, but they have this connection to each other and this pull towards each other that they both want and don't want to interact with. And I just loved it so much. I also just love vampires, so kicking my feet. Again, she is 6 feet tall. I forget, one of them is 6'2", and I think one of them is 6 foot, and I forget which is which. or if it's even 6'2", but I know that they are 6 feet. So they're also very tall women, which is very nice. I like tall women. I really enjoyed it. I did like Blood Moon more than The Stone and the Star, but I think I'm going to look into Gillian Graves more and see what else she has that I can purchase, and maybe see if there's anything more with Hazel and Vlad that I can read, because I really like them and I wish this was a little longer. So those were the 7 books that I read between November and December. I did attempt, I have it right next to my bed because I was gonna try and do it. I grabbed every like skinny-ish book I had on my shelf, and I was like, I'm gonna read all of these before December's up. These were the only 2 from the pile that I got to, but it's okay. I read 51 books total, and my nephew challenged me that I would be able to read 50 books last year, so I hit my goal with him. Granted, I also hit my reading goal because my reading goal is 5. Let's look a little bit into my stats. So I read 51 books. I read 13,813 pages. So I also hit my page goal of reading 5,000 pages. And the average time it took me to finish a book is 10 days, which once I finish one of my books, that number is going to skyrocket. But it's fine. Most of the books that I read were adventurous. I mainly read fast-paced books, mainly books that were under 300 pages, but very close related was books that were, 300 to 500 pages. Mainly read fiction books. I did read some non-fiction. Highest genre was fantasy, followed by romance. Format-wise, and I don't know why the format chart is showing a different number of pages. I don't know how that's being tracked. Is that mostly print, and about a quarter-ish of the books that I read were digital. So that's fun. I normally don't read that many digital books. I just realized my average star rating is going to be off. Apparently I didn't put my full review of Blood Moon in. How fun. Currently, my average star rating for 2025 was 3.78. So that's very fun. Most of the books that I rated were 4 stars. And I had 3 5 stars, which was Our Rogue Fates, The Last Unicorn, because obviously, and then also Sunrise on the Reaping. My best reading month was 100% January. I read the most books and the most pages that month. So I wonder if I can do the same thing this year. And then my highest read author was Sylvain Neuvel, who wrote the Themis Files series, and I read all 3 books, as well as the 4 novella extra chapters that were on the Themis Files website. And that was such a fun series and story, and I only own the first book, and I want to find the other 2. But I have the first one in hardcover, so I want to find the other 2 in hardcover. And so far I've only found the 3rd one at a Half Price Books in paperback. Yeah, so that's just a little highlight on my stats for 2025. And now we're going to go into the books that I purchased, as well as the 2 books that were gifted to me for Christmas. And afterwards, I'm going to show you 2 bookish related gifts that I got, because I just think they'd be really cute to also highlight in here. So first is, I talked about it a few times prior, I was going to a book convention back home. It was called the Very Merry Bookmas. It's the first year it was ever run. My friend Lindsay told me about it. She has no idea how she heard about it, just that she did. And she told me and our friend Abby about it, so we all went, and it was very fun. It was very interesting to go, and they're doing it again, so we're gonna see if we want to do it again next year. I think I will want to. I don't know, but I ended up getting 3 books while there. We'll go in order of how I purchased them. So the first one is The Magic of Two Crows Corner. This is by Catherine Hills. It is a Halloween romance. And so I think it's just very fun. It's set in Salem. So I got this specifically to read in Halloween, or like between September and October coming up, because I feel like that would be the perfect time to read this. Next book I got, I had told myself I was going to read it while I was still home, and I didn't. I Hate Christmas is a novella by Tracy Donahue, and this follows, I don't exactly know what it follows. It's like I think it's a bed and breakfast. I don't know. All I know is this one, because she was talking about it more. All the author and I were just talking about, she's like, it's perfect for Halloween. And so I took it. This one follows a woman who is helping do a calendar shoot for a fire department. Is all that has to do with firemen and cats. And something is going on with Mr. December. That's all I know. And so I was like, cats? Christmas? Firefighters? Okay. I had meant to read this one, but I didn't get to it. So I will save this one for Christmas time. The third book is also a novella. It's by Sarah Zane. It is a high seas heist. And this is actually a novella to a series or a book that she already wrote. She wrote that book first, and then she wrote this little like prequel novella. And I decided to just get the prequel novella. All I know is that is a all-female pirate crew, and it's gay. So yeah, if I like it enough, I will get the actual book that starts the series, and we'll see how that goes. But it's also just really pretty. While I was home, I obviously went to a thrift store, because why not? And I was home, and so my family was doing essentially whatever I wanted to do. And I said I wanted to go to Savers, because the closest one to me here in Texas is 5 hours away, and my mom needed to donate things anyway, so I got a coupon to use. It's funny, my mom and I were both handing bags, so they handed both of us coupons. My mom already had a coupon in her purse, so my sister also got a coupon. So it was great. So 20% off of these two books. The first one I got was by Susanna Clark. It is Piranesi. I've heard really good things about this book, but that also it's confusing. And I just think it sounds fun. I like the cover, and it won the Women's Prize for Fiction in 2021. So I decided to pick it up and see how interesting this book would be. I think it also has like mythology, like Greek mythology vibes to it. So I was going completely on vibes. It's a really good edition of the book, and it was $3. Next book, I have never heard of this book. I'm so excited about this. It is a Misty Divine mystery by Holly Stars. It is Murder in the Dressing Room. Holly Starr is a drag stand-up comedian, and so this is a book about a drag queen finding, what is it, her manager? No, her drag mother. So the drag queen, this is Misty Divine. She finds her drag mother dead in a dressing room. And so it's a murder mystery. And like, look at that. That is so cute. I've never heard of this. I'm so excited to read this. Like, hello? I will need to look up more Misty Divine mysteries, especially if I like it. With my sister and her boyfriend, and we decided to go out to eat, and we were right across the street from a Barnes & Noble. So I made the comment, hey, what if we just went? Because I knew there were books that I didn't put on my Christmas list. So I knew there was no chance my family would have gotten them for me. So we went and I found two books. One that came out this year that every time I had gone to a bookstore after it had come out, they didn't have it. But this bookstore did. I was so excited. This is the next Harlot's Bay novel. This is A Second Chance Romance by Olivia Dade. Oh, I'm so excited. I love the Harlot's Bay. Like, I love her Spoiler Alert series, but the Harlot's Bay, I think it's so fun. And they're both plus size main characters, so male and female. And he's a baker. I don't know. Everything about this just screams so cute to me. Maybe it's also because of how orange the cover is. I don't know. The next one, I have essentially listened to this play out. I only got one copy because they only had 2 copies of the second one, and my sister's boyfriend took that copy off the shelf, but we both got the first one. It is the first The Adventure Zone comic, so Here There Be Gerblins. I really like it. I loved the Adventure Zone podcast, especially this arc, like all of these, like with these characters, and I'm still listening to it. I am on like the third arc of Amnesty, I believe. I'm very late to the party with it. No spoilers, please. But I got this and I want to get the others. I think the art is so nice and pretty, and it makes me want to re-listen to the Balance saga, but I want to get through the rest of like everything else that they have currently, and then I can listen to Balance again. But I definitely want to get the rest that they have, and I do know that Crystal Kingdom was my favorite to listen to out of the ones that, like out of the Balance arcs listening to, and I think it's only up to Crystal Kingdom that's been published. I have to double check, but if they make more, I will buy them. Now we are at the books that I got for Christmas. Christmas Notch and July novellas. These are by Julie Murphy and Sierra Simone. So the first one is Snow Place Like LA. And then what's fun with this is you just flip it around and then it's Season Greetings. So I was very excited that this was coming out. I was so excited to unwrap this, and I love the whole that you just flip it. That's just fun to me. So I got that. And then I also got another Christmas themed book that I will probably wait for Christmas time to read it. I believe this is 3 stories / novellas mixed into one story. It's a story, and then it's 2 bonus holiday stories set in the world of the Cocky Kingsmen. So this is by Amy Award, and it is Hunkers Under the Holly. And I just find that so funny. And of course, honkers. We got a goose. The picture, it looks like a porch goose, but I know with Amy, whoever this is has a pet goose. We love them for it. Because so far, every animal that's in the series is owned by the female. And that's so funny. Also includes the 2 little holiday stories of Bare Naked with the Bearded Baller. And those are the parents of the Kingman brothers. And then Ants in Santa's Pants, which is a cousin of the Kingmans. This is Chris's sports agent and his plus-size model wife. So that's very fun. And it also looks like a fake engagement to save a rescue goose. Oh, so cute. We're gonna go with the gift that's non-bookish, but it's very related to my channel, or the gift that's non-bookish but very related to my channel, that I will be making a video for soon. But it came out, I already knew I was getting this, but it's still exciting to unwrap it and know that I did get it and I don't have to buy this. It is the Lego Italy postcard. They announced this earlier in the year that this is the next postcard in the set, and I immediately started freaking out to my family. So I will be making this soon. And then I need to purchase a glass shelf insert from IKEA for my shelf so I can display the postcards differently than how I have them currently. Now the 2 bookish gifts that I just kind of want to highlight in this video because I think they deserve it is I had been wanting one of these because I've been cooking a lot at home. I got a recipe book that I can fill in. It's a little binder so I can move things around, and so it has 2-sided pages that you can put the name of the recipe, the ingredients, the directions, and there's a lot of different like sections in the book. I don't think I'm going to be doing that many types of meals in here, so some of those like separator cards I may not need, but it's very cute that I got. This is handmade in Italy, but my family got it at Barnes & Noble, so it's much cuter than any of the like recipe books I was looking at online. So I was so happy when I opened it. The next one I got, this is actually from my nephew, and when I opened it, I was like, oh, what is this? And then I figured out like what it was. And my sister was telling me that when they first saw them, she was like, I was trying to find a book that you liked. So this is a craft involving books. She was like, I was trying to find a book that you liked, and I couldn't find it, but Caden, my nephew, found this book. The book is Mockingjay, and this is a little, like, hanging shelf. This is my favorite gift. This is so cute, and I need to figure out what I'm going to put on it. I already know where I'm going to put it, which is going to be, like, right there in my room. How freaking adorable is this? And if I wanted to, I could just read Mockingjay while I'm laying down. Let's just... Does it go through any of the words? It doesn't go through any of the words. So I can read this without hindrance. Thank you for watching. Those are the books that I read and I purchased / were gifted between the months of November and December. I look forward to seeing what 2026 is going to bring and what those stats are going to look like. Share some of your stats in the comments below. Let me know what you think about the books that I got, the books that I've read, if you have any recommendations, and I will see you guys in another new video soon. A bientôt!